Poor girl walked into the wrong cafe on a cold winter night, never knowing a millionaire fell for her. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into today's story. On a cold winter evening, Emma stepped into the warmth of a bustling cafe, the low hum of conversation and clinking cups filling the air. She glanced at the crowd, taking in the comforting aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the gentle chatter of people enjoying their drinks. Emma's heart beat a little faster, not because of the cafe's ambience, but because of the nerves that always came with blind dates. She had promised her best friend Jenny that she would give it a shot, even though she had no idea who Kevin was. The text message had been vague, but Jenny assured her it was a perfect match. The cafe was busy, filled with couples and friends, but Emma felt out of place. Her second-hand coat, worn shoes, and the nervous twitch of her hands contrasted sharply with the polished patrons around her. Her eyes darted around the room, searching for the man she was supposed to meet. Table 7. Table 7. She whispered to herself under her breath, trying to steady her nerves. As she passed by several tables, she finally spotted a man sitting alone at the back, his head bent over his phone, engrossed in something on the screen. He looked exactly like the kind of person Jenny would set her up with, confident, well-dressed, and seemingly oblivious to the world around him. Taking a deep breath, she walked up to him, her heels clicking lightly against the wooden floor. "Hi, you must be Kevin," she said, forcing a bright smile, even though her stomach was in knots. The man looked up at her, his eyes widening for a moment. He blinked, clearly thrown off by her sudden appearance. For a split second, neither of them spoke. Then, as if snapping out of his daze, he gave her a tentative smile. Hi, Emma, right?" he said, his voice deep and calm. Emma felt a wave of relief, thinking that perhaps he was just a little shy. She slid into the seat across from him, fidgeting with her napkin. "I know this is awkward. Blind dates are weird, right? Jenny told me you might be a little reserved, so don't worry, I'll talk enough for both of us," she babbled, trying to cover up the awkwardness. The man, who introduced himself as Liam, laughed softly, his smile warming up as he leaned back in his chair. He didn't seem upset by the mix-up, just a little surprised. "Right, blind dates are something else," he replied, his tone more relaxed than she expected. Emma, still nervous, tried to fill the silence. "So, what do you do?" she asked, taking a sip from her water. She thought she had heard something about Liam being in tech. "I work in tech," Liam answered, his gaze still on her. "Tech? Like coding and apps?" Emma asked, her eyebrows raised. Liam chuckled softly, his smile widening. "Something like that," he said, clearly amused by her interest, but not offering any more details. She smiled, trying to sound casual. "I'm terrible with computers," she said, feeling the tension lift just a little. "It's not for everyone," Liam said, his eyes twinkling as he glanced at her. Emma was relieved that the conversation was flowing more easily now. She started to relax, talking about her job as a waitress and her dream of one day opening her own art studio. She talked about the struggles of paying rent and how hard it was to balance her dreams with her reality. "I really want to create something meaningful," she said, her voice softening. Liam listened quietly, his eyes focused on her every word. He found himself intrigued, not by her circumstances, but by her passion. She wasn't like the people he usually interacted with, polished, professional, and often more interested in his wealth than in him as a person. Emma was different. She didn't know who he was, and that made her genuine in a way that most people weren't. For the first time in a long while, Liam felt like he could relax. Emma didn't know it yet, but this chance encounter, this simple mistake, was about to change her life forever. As the days went by, Emma found herself thinking about Liam more often than she expected. After their awkward first meeting, they had exchanged a few texts, and slowly, a friendship began to blossom. They met again for coffee, this time in a quiet corner of the same cafe, and the conversation flowed effortlessly. They laughed about the mix-up at their first meeting, with Emma admitting that she had never felt more embarrassed in her life. Liam, on the other hand, found her easy to talk to, a refreshing change from the stiff conversations he had with people in his usual circle. As the weeks passed, they continued to meet for casual coffee dates and long walks through the city. Emma felt like she could be herself around him, without the fear of judgment. She shared her dreams of becoming an artist, her struggles with paying rent, and her constant worry about her future. Liam listened with a sincerity that made her feel understood, and for the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to believe that things could get better. But there was still a part of her that held back. She knew there was something Liam wasn't telling her, and she couldn't shake the feeling that she was missing a piece of the puzzle. He had never mentioned much about his work in tech, and whenever she asked about it, he would change the subject or give vague answers. Emma wasn't the type to pry, but she couldn't ignore the nagging curiosity that gnawed at her. One evening, as they walked through the park, Liam mentioned that he would be attending a charity gala the following weekend. "It's a big event," he said casually, as they passed by a group of joggers. "I'll be there to support a few causes I'm passionate about." Emma nodded, intrigued by the idea of such a glamorous event, but she didn't think much of it. She was still trying to figure out how she fit into Liam's world, a world that seemed so different from hers. "You should come with me," Liam said, breaking her out of her thoughts. "I know it's last minute, but I'd really like you to be there." Emma's heart skipped a beat. She had never imagined herself attending something so elegant, but the idea of being there with Liam, who had been nothing but kind and genuine, made her feel a little more at ease. "I don't know." She hesitated, unsure of what to wear or how to act at such an event. "I'm just a waitress, Liam. I don't think I belong at a gala like that." Liam smiled softly, his eyes warm and reassuring. "Don't worry about that. You're exactly where you need to be," he said, his voice gentle. "It'll be fun. I promise." Emma agreed, though she still had doubts swirling in her mind. The day of the gala arrived, and Emma found herself standing in front of her tiny closet, staring at the clothes she had. She settled on the best dress she owned, a simple black number she had worn to a wedding a few years ago. It wasn't fancy, but it was the best she had. As she looked at herself in the mirror, she couldn't help but feel self-conscious. The gala was being held at a luxurious hotel downtown, and Emma had no idea what to expect. She had never been to an event like this before. She arrived at the venue feeling like a fish out of water. The lobby was filled with well-dressed people, chatting in hushed voices as they sipped champagne. Emma felt out of place, but Liam was there to greet her, looking effortlessly stylish in his sharp tuxedo. He smiled when he saw her, and Emma felt a wave of relief wash over her. "You look beautiful," he said, his voice sincere. Emma blushed, not used to receiving such compliments. She was still getting used to the idea that someone like Liam would even want to spend time with her. As the night went on, Emma slowly began to relax. Liam introduced her to a few people, and although she felt a little out of place at times, she couldn't deny that she was having a good time. But as the evening wore on, something strange happened. As they were standing by the buffet table, the host of the gala made an announcement. "We would like to introduce our special guest tonight, someone who has made a significant impact in the tech world." The crowd clapped politely, and Liam, standing beside Emma, gave a small nod. Emma, however, was still trying to catch up. She had no idea who the host was talking about. But then the host continued, "Please welcome Liam Parker." Emma froze. Of her understood what he meant. She had seen so many people treat others differently based on their status, their wealth. It was hard to know who was genuine and who was just using you for their own gain. But with Liam, it felt different. He hadn't treated her like she was just another person trying to get something from him. He had treated her like she mattered, like she was enough, just as she was. Despite the revelation, despite the shock, she found herself questioning her own feelings. "I don't know what to think right now," Emma said quietly, her eyes cast down. "This whole time, I thought you were just another guy like me, trying to make it through life. But now, I don't know." Liam's heart sank as he watched her struggle with the truth. He could see the uncertainty in her eyes, the fear of being hurt. He stepped closer to her, gently lifting her chin so that she was looking at him. "I'm sorry, Emma," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "I didn't mean to lie to you. I just wanted to be with you, to have something real." Emma didn't respond right away. She needed time, space to think. But part of her, the part that had come to care for him, wanted to believe him. She had seen something in him that no amount of money or status could change. "I need some time to process this, Liam," she said, her voice shaky. I can't just ignore everything that's happened. I need to figure out what this all means. Liam nodded, his face etched with regret. I understand. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. With that, Emma walked away, her thoughts a jumble of confusion and uncertainty. She had come to the gala hoping to have a fun night, to enjoy Liam's company without any expectations. But now, everything had changed. She didn't know where to go from here, or what would happen between them. All she knew was that her feelings for Liam were real, but so was the uncertainty that hung in the air. As the night wore on, Emma found herself standing outside the hotel, the cool winter air hitting her face as she tried to make sense of everything. She had never been in a situation like this before. She had always lived her